Okay, so are you ready for a story?
Always.
All right, picture this.
Okay.
You're on a ski lift
Mm-hmm.
at Winter Park Resort in Colorado.
Beautiful place.
You're enjoying the view when suddenly
Oh.
everything stops.
Oh, no.
And you're stuck hundreds of feet in the air
Yeah.
with 173 other skiers and snowboarders.
I've heard about this.
Yeah, so this actually happened just
Oh.
a few weeks ago, and we're going to deep dive into it today.
I'm fascinated.
Yeah, so what happened? How did they get everyone down safely?
Right.
And what does this tell us about, the engineering and safety behind ski lifts?
Right, because we hop on and we just trust that everything's going to work.
Oh.
But there's a whole world of things going on behind the scenes that we don't even think about.
Yeah, so this wasn't like just some random glitch.
Right.
A structural part of the lift actually cracked,
Yeah.
which triggered an automatic stop.
Right. So to understand how serious this is, you
Yeah.
have to know a little bit about how these lifts work.
Yeah.
They rely on these incredibly strong cables called hull ropes.
Okay,
And
so like the main cable.
the main cable.
Okay.
Think of it as like the arteries of the lift system,
Yeah,
pumping people up and down the mountain.
right.
In this case, a critical section of that rope,
Okay,
probably near one of the grips that holds a gondola,
okay.
developed a fatigue crack.
So a crack in the cable.
A crack in the cable.
Right.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, because that can lead to a total failure
Exactly.
that nobody wants.
You don't want to be on a lift when the cable snaps.
So 174 people
Wow.
and gondolas dangling in midair.
Yeah.
I mean, that must have been terrifying.
It must have been. And that's where the potential dangers really multiply.
Right. Yeah, because you think about it's late afternoon, the sun is setting,
Temperatures are dropping.
temperatures are dropping.
You're stuck in a small gondola.
Yeah,
The psychological impact alone can be immense. Even before you factor in potential weather changes or
Right.
medical emergencies.
so yeah, what if somebody had to go to the bathroom?
Exactly. All those things,
Yeah, so everyone's freaking out, hanging hundreds of feet above the ground.
Right.
How do they even begin to get people down?
Well, this is where the expertise of the ski patrol really shines.
Okay,
They train for this.
so this isn't their first rodeo?
This is not their first rodeo. No, it's not just about skiing down mountains.
Right,
They're basically high altitude rescue specialists.
right, so they're trained for this kind of thing.
Exactly.
So are they rappelling down from helicopters to each gondola?
Not quite, but it's pretty impressive.
Okay.
They access each gondola from above using ropes and specialized equipment.
Oh, wow.
You can think of it like
Like a...
a highly choreographed, high-stakes spelunking operation.
Whoa. Oh,
So they lower the equipment first, to make sure everything's safe.
yeah.
And then they use ropes and seats to carefully bring each passenger down.
Wow.
It took over 5 hours,
Whoa.
but everybody was safely evacuated.
5 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, it must have felt like an eternity for those folks stuck in those gondolas.
It must have. I can only imagine.
I mean, the resort spokesperson, Jen Miller, said,
Yeah.
it's a bummer for sure,
Right.
but malfunctions do happen and our teams are trained,
Yeah.
and she's right.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes you wonder, what if someone, had a medical emergency
Exactly.
while they were waiting?
Right. Every minute counts in those situations.
Mhm.
And while the focus is on safe evacuation,
Oh.
there's always that risk of unforeseen complications.
Right.
Which is why that investigation into the cause of that crack is so important.
Okay.
This lift was relatively new.
Okay.
It opened in 2018,
Okay.
and this was its first evacuation.
Brand new lift. First evacuation. What could have gone wrong?
That's what they're trying to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an overnight fix.
Yeah.
Was it a manufacturing flaw? Was it an issue with the installation?
Okay.
Or could it even be related to
To what?
the increasing stresses that climate change is putting on infrastructure?
Interesting. Okay.
Higher temperature swings
Yeah.
can lead to more metal fatigue.
Oh, that's a good point.
Increased snowfall can overload these systems.
Right.
So how are engineers designing lifts to withstand these changes? These are the questions.
Yeah, that's a great point. We always talk about how climate change affects the weather,
Right.
but its impact on infrastructure like this is something most people don't even consider.
Exactly. And this incident,
Hmm.
while dramatic,
Yeah.
is a reminder that we need to be thinking about these things. It's
Okay.
not just about building bigger and better.
Yeah.
It's about building smarter and more resilient.
Right, because what are some of the other things that we might not be thinking about
Exactly right.
that this could affect?
Yeah.
And thankfully, this incident was isolated. 21 other lifts at the resort stayed operational, which shows how seriously they take safety.
Right.
Yeah.
But it does make you think,
Yeah.
what other unforeseen challenges might we face in the future?
Yeah.
As we kind of push the limits of technology and recreation,
Right.
we need to be prepared for the unexpected.
That is a chilling thought,
Yeah,
but a good one to keep in mind.
absolutely.
So we started with the story of a ski lift malfunction,
Right.
but this deep dive took us into, the world of ski lift engineering, safety protocols, and even the impact of climate change
Yeah.
on infrastructure.
And ultimately, it raises important questions about how we design and manage systems, not just for safety, but for resilience in a rapidly changing world.
Well, thanks for joining me for this deep dive,
Of course, my pleasure.
and we'll see you next time.
See you later.